Howdy, it's Matt, and in this episode we've got the Maiden of the Cloud Raptor. Now, you probably remember the unboxing which we did a short while ago, and it's been here on the side, and I've just not got round to flying it. And today was the final day. That was it. I'm taking it out and flying it, and today was a slope soaring day. Now, before we get to a Maiden, there's a couple of points which I need to make you aware of. This wing is exceptionally light, so unlike the EPP foam which you may be more used to, the EPP foam which is in the wings underneath this covering is a much lower density, and what that has like a positive effect, which makes this wing exceptionally light. Now, I don't know the exact weight. I'll tell you what I'll do is that after I've recorded this episode, I'll stick it on the scales, but I can tell you that there's hardly any weight to this model. And that includes the two servos, a 40 amp ESC, and the motor on the back as well. No propeller, we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, a very light model, and I ended up flying this pretty much exclusively for the rest of the day in very turbulent conditions. And I can tell you they were very challenging, and this model really did very, very well on the slope. I haven't flown it FPV yet. I haven't flown it, well, I've flown it line of sight, it kind of makes sense on the slope, but not on, like on a normal weather conditions day. Now, there are a few quirks to this model. Number one, the coating is that I did laminate mine, and it didn't come out particularly well. The wrap didn't take too well to the laminate which I used, so it looks a bit patchy, but it has stuck. So it's not really the model's fault, it's just because I wanted to laminate it to make it a little bit tougher. And by the way, I was right to put laminate on it. I put it in a hedge, or this very spiky bush, and took a chunk out of the wing. Frankly, I wasn't surprised about it taking a chunk out, because it went in that bush pretty damn hard, to say the least. The elevons are made out of this, and the center section are made out of this really hard foam, which I've never come across before, but it's very, very hard. I didn't like the amount of flex which was in the elevons, and you'll see that I've put a piece of carbon strip in there. As far as the motor setup goes, is that in the middle I've got D4R2 in there, 40 amp ESC, and the reason why it's a 40 amp not 30 amp is because my intentions was to run this on 4S. It's a D2826 2200 kV motor on the back, MG90S servos in the sides, and I made up my own control horns. I was going to put a Runcam Mini Swift on the front, but I've taken that off and I put that on the Falcon wing, which you'll see in a later episode. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to put a Mini Swift on this one. You can run it just with an all-in-one camera. Spit my words out to the ones which have got the video transmitter, and the camera all built into the same unit. As far as battery goes, is that as I found out, it will run and it will fly fine with only a 1.3 3S battery in the nose. Of course, because you've got such a large battery bay here, you can put a much bigger battery in if you wanted to, maybe a 2200 3S, or even a wide selection of 4S batteries. It's like the size of my hand in the fuselage. I was a little bit worried about the the plywood breaking on nose punts into the ground. Again today, like I said, I did fly it quite a bit, like almost exclusively for the majority of the day, and it did do absolutely fantastically well in very, very turbulent conditions. A mistake which I made is that, as you're about to see in the Maiden video in just a moment, I didn't tighten up the prop nut enough, and I've kind of lost my 6x4 propeller off the back. Besides that, there's the underside. Flies absolutely fantastically well. I am genuinely impressed on how well it flew, and I can't wait to fly this on a normal day. Now, also note, I'm renowned for putting extra carbon in wings of models, and I was a bit worried about the wings falling off this one and whether the wing spar was going to be enough in this one. And I can tell you, after today's flying and the amount of unscheduled landings which we had with her, the wing has really has done well and held up to the abuse. So let me put the model down a moment. With that said, let's jump across to the flight line. Give you a heads up, it is exceptionally windy there, to say the least. So apologies for the wind noise, but do look out for how well she does handle the turbulent wind conditions, and honestly speaking, genuinely impressed. So with that said, let's jump across to the flight line and I'll see you there. Cheerios!
Alright, it's Matt. You probably won't be able to hear me because the microphone's crap on the run cam too. But, Cloud Raptor. We're going to lob it anyway. Stick that from the sky. You want to give us a lob? Yeah. Dave's going to toss me. Right, there's that much from idea what it is. Look there. Make sure it's recording. I've lost my prop, Dave. I've lost my propeller. I don't know what working. It's flying great though. No propeller! Spot on, you won't hear it because of the wind noise, but it flew great. Half that flight was with no propeller at all. Really like it. That's good. So Matt and the Raptor, cheerio!